Hello, this is Daree Allen of DareeAllen.com. I'm an authorpreneur, speaker, writer, talk show host. I run this podcast I'm about to talk about, Kicking It with Daree, and I'm also a certified life coach. And so I am excited to talk about my brand new episode today. Every Tuesday I have a new episode on Kicking It with Daree. It is available on iTunes and Stitcher Radio, as well as my website, DareeAllen.com. I'm going to go and change the screen for a second and just show you real quick what the iTunes page looks like. That's me with the gold square. And at the very top is the latest episode from today about living the life you've only ever dreamed about. And my guest was Talisa Beasley. Talisa and I met a few years ago, and she's always been someone that I feel is on top of her game when it comes to as a therapist, as a coach, as a speaker. She empowers women. She empowers women entrepreneurs, and her handle is at Women Lead. I am going to be talking about this particular topic, which is living the life you've always dreamed about. And she actually gives in this episode 5 secrets for living the life that you dreamed about. I'm not going to give them on this Periscope. So if you're waiting for me to give those 5 steps, you're going to have to go to the page I just showed you on iTunes or Stitcher or DareeAllen.com to get those 5 secrets. But what I will give you is just a brief overview of what the episode is about. It's roughly about 45 minutes. Talisa and I talked about the fact that women, especially in our society and our culture, are not really encouraged very much or persuaded very much to do a lot more than sacrifice. So yes, we've made great strides in business. We've made great strides with our freedoms and so forth. But generally speaking, if you look at America or anywhere else in the world, women are still looked at as the primary caretakers of the household and the nurturers. And we're looked at with a side eye if we're ambitious, or if we want to do anything more or anything different from raising children and being a wife. That's just seen as that's your function. And of course, we're made for that, but there is a pervading feeling and notion that, like, if you get to a certain age, maybe it's 30, I'm not really sure what it is, I passed 30 a while ago, then, why aren't you married? Why don't you have kids? And then if you have a husband or significant other and children, then it's supposed to be all about them. God forbid you have any desires of your own. Well, no, everyone was created with a purpose, and everyone was created with desires and something in them. And maybe the purpose is to just be a wife or just a mother. And I put the word just in front of it just to mean solely, not that I'm belittling that, because I've been a wife and I am a mom. So I understand totally how important that is and how much of an asset that we are. But we also have additional gifts and things that we bring to the table. And every woman is not designed to be a mom. Every woman is not designed to be a wife. And so the first thing we did in this episode was we dispelled the myth that it's wrong or that it's selfish or that it's somehow negative if a woman wants to do something in addition to or other than those roles of wife and mom. And so that's first of all. Second thing is, even if you are a wife and a mom, you have a life too. You have other roles, you have other hats. And before you had those children, you were somebody. You have a first name and a last name. You have your own identity, and you have your own interests and desires and talents. And so when you think about when you get to a certain age, it may not even be 30, it might be in your 20s that you feel this way. You might kind of feel like there's something missing, or that you want to explore something, or maybe there's something you see someone else doing, and you start dreaming about it, and you're thinking to yourself, well, what are the next steps that I need to take to get there? What do I do to nourish this dream and see if this is really something that I can pursue to fill that void or feel that nagging feeling that there's something more that I'm missing out on? And so Talisa Beasley and I discussed 5 secrets for how you can start to live the life that you've dreamed about. And we also talked about the fact that we need to also teach our children that it is okay to have those separations. So for instance, my daughter is 12 years old right now. She doesn't necessarily want to go with me everywhere, but there was a time when she was a little bit younger that she thought, hey, if mommy's going, well, then I'm going. And I'm a single mom, and so it's just us. So she's used to having me to herself. But there are obviously things that I would like to do without my daughter sitting there in my face, right? love her to death, but I'm still a woman and I'm still a person of a particular age. And so it's like we have to teach our kids that it's okay to have those different desires and to want more things and to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do, and that you don't have to just be in one lane. And another thing that we talked about is the fact that when there is something new that you want to do or something that you want to pursue, that you have to make sure that you're talking to the right people, because there are times where you'll talk to somebody about something that you want to do, say, oh, you know what, I have this idea, I was thinking about, starting a business, or I was thinking about moving to such and such a place. And all of a sudden, if you tell the wrong person, they will just shut you down. They'll tell you 23 reasons why you can't do it. I picked 23 because my birthday is the 23rd. It's coming up. Yay! But they'll give you all these reasons why you can't do it, why you shouldn't do it, why it'll never work, why it's stupid, why you're stupid. And when you come across people like that, they need to exit stage left. You don't need to talk to them about that anymore. You might not need to talk to them about anything, depending on if they're like this all the time. I had a guest previously a few weeks ago named Ty Cohen, and one of the things that he said, I've got a great Instagram post about this. One of the things he said is that sometimes when a person cannot see your vision for your life, it's not so much that they are hating necessarily. They could be, but it could also be that they can't see a vision for themselves, and therefore they can't encourage you in your vision. All right. But there's a difference between someone that can't see the vision and someone that's just plain mean and toxic and it's just like a crab in the barrel. It's November and a lot of people are already thinking about the new year, what they're doing for the holidays, what are their goals for next year, resolutions, whatever you want to call it. And so if you're thinking about what you may or may not have gotten to do or accomplish or finish this year that you talked about a year ago, then perhaps you could get started on that plan now. January 1st is just a date like every other date on the calendar. There's nothing special or magical about January 1. So if you're looking at this scope, you're looking at me and saying, you know what? She's right. I've always thought about doing this. I've always thought about doing that. Well, go for it. Let's get started today with doing that research and talking to people that can help you on that path. You don't have to wait till January 1. You don't have to wait till your birthday, Christmas, whatever special day that you normally would celebrate. You don't have to worry about that. Speaking of dreams, speaking of things that you've always wanted to do, if you have always wanted to become an author, if you've put it off, if you started writing a book and stopped, then you're going to want to check out my next scope in a few minutes. I will be talking about how or what goes into a book proposal. So assembling a book proposal. Thank you for listening to Kickin' It with Daree and downloading and subscribing and sharing it with your followers and your friends. Thank you. Bye.